Hello, welcome to Every Single Journey, a family life original podcast for singles. My name is Becki. I'm a single girl in my 30s who is passionately pursuing this life God has given me. Join me as we navigate through the season of singleness together. Joining us on episode 12 are Tately.
Hello.
And Michael.
Thanks for having me.
We were created to love and be loved. Scripture talks about 4 different kinds of love. As single people, the desire to find love, both romantic and love from family and friends, we sometimes misplace that love for counterfeit versions of it. Tately, why is it important to know where we are giving and receiving love?
That's a great question, and it's a big question. Mm-hmm. I feel like in anything in life, you have to give time for some pausing and just self-awareness and retrospection and kind of just see where you're at. And so knowing where you're getting and giving love is the same thing. You have to kind of pause and evaluate. And I think broad strokes, it's important because our desires determine our direction. Mm. And if our desires are misplaced in the approval of others, or just romantic love, but in the wrong ways, our direction is going to go more and more away from Christ. And if we are correctly desiring and we're praying that, God, give me make my desires your desires. Mm-hmm. And if we're continually pausing and re-saying that, then our direction is going to be more and more aligned with Christ. And misplaced desires can also be misplaced priorities. And I know it's a very broad stroke, but that's what I would say, overall. Desires determine direction.
Yeah.
I love a good alliteration.
Yeah. That was great. It's almost like that that self-fulfilling prophecy type thing where, or even like good old Ben Franklin, if you are determined to fail, you will. Like what you're putting your thoughts and your energy into, you will mirror that. Who you're surrounding yourself with, what you're feeding yourself, you are going to mirror that. Garbage in, garbage out. That's one of my favorite quotes. If you're filling yourself with a bunch of nonsense and garbage, you're going to then give that as well.
I feel like it's such a blessing and such a curse at the same time that our desires determine our direction, and the fact that the desires that we have can come from an excellent place or they can come from a terrible place. But then even fulfilling those desires can then get skewed. And it's I at least have this desire to feel loved and to feel accepted and all the wonderful things that come with love, but also to give love. And I feel like at times I can misplace that love in different ways, whether that's love of a friend or love of family or romantic love or love from God, how I interpret it. Not that God misplaces his love because he's perfect and he's holy and he doesn't. And he loved us so much, he sent his son to pay the price for our sins so that we can be with him. And just the fact that love comes from him, it feels like a blessing and a curse to have that desire and to have that want for love and to give love, but at the same time to recognize I can misplace it in so many different ways, and that can positively or negatively affect my life.
Well, we had mentioned the 4 different Greek words for love, which is there's storge, philia.
Eros.
Yes, eros and agape. Agape is God's love for us. It's the sacrificial love. There is no greater love than this, but to lay one's life down for one's friend. So it's a sacrificial love. You're good at my cost. And then there is philia, which is a family, a familiar love. And then I believe storge is love for one's friends, brethren, that sort of thing. And then eros is the physical love, the sexual love. All 4 of those different kinds of loves are things that we as humans were designed by our Creator. We're designed by God to desire those things. For eros specifically, this to fulfill that desire, it is outlined to us in the Bible. It is a relationship between one man, one woman who are married. Outside of that, we are misplacing our love.
Like we've said, we all desire to love and to be loved. And part of what that is community and connecting with people. Because like the greatest form of love is Christ's sacrificial love for us. And God is so faithful and so good. He doesn't break that connection with us. Like once we place our trust in him, like that connection is always there, and he loves us so deeply. And from that connection and from him is where our ability to love people and to be loved comes from. And then I feel like you touched really well on like the tricky parts of, because we're humans and because we've sinned, we can mix that up and give mixed signals of like, oh, my desire right now to either be loved or to love somebody is really strong, and I really want that romantic connection. But because I haven't found my person yet, I am filling it with something else besides Christ. I'm filling it with potentially pornography or alcohol or food, or on the flip side, adrenaline rushes or experiences or vacations or hobbies, like those good things that we have to enjoy can also become a form of misplaced love. Like for example, I love to quilt and I love to create and I love to craft. And if I am not being self-aware and just really making sure, my relationship with the Lord is correct, but I still have these desires. If I'm not careful, I could try to fill it with that counterfeit version of love, of like, I get so much satisfaction and so much happiness out of creating and quilting and doing all of those type of activities, that all of a sudden I could find myself in a place of like, I'm good. I'm content. Like, I don't need anybody. I don't need people in my life to fill me up or to love or be loved, because I have this inanimate object that I can create and control and do what I want with it. And that in and of itself can be not great, because God created us for that community and for that connection with people. So I feel like it can be misplaced with some, like you were explaining, Michael, more harmful, sinful actions, desires, things that we're told don't do, but it also could be filled with something seemingly good and beneficial.
Like a friendship.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Two of the biggest tactics of the devil are distraction and deception.
Yep.
Like he disguises himself as an angel of light. He takes something that is in its nature, by its nature good, and will distort that and just twist it enough. For example, pornography. Sex was something that was designed by God to be good. And then the devil takes that and twists it and distorts it and perverts it, and it becomes this sort of addictive, false relationship.
If you're like a hands-on statistic person, like I don't want to hear people just talk about in general how wrong desires can be bad. Like you want a hands-on example. Just research, do a quick Google search of the effects of pornography on your brain. It is scientifically proven to be damaging. So we're not just three people in a studio saying, I feel like it's bad for you. There's hard evidence.
Yes.
It's bad for you. God doesn't just tell us things because he wants to make up rules. He's literally protecting us.
Absolutely. And from personal experience, like I have and often do struggle with pornography. That's a very real part of my life, and it affects me and the people I interact with. Because after whatever, I am angry, I am upset, even if I don't realize that it's directly connected. And again, like still facing the repercussions of those effects with different relationships that I have. It is extremely costly to put your desires before Christ's desires for you. Yeah, so pornography is a very real danger. It's completely dangerous, and the distraction and the deception, it's now it's so normal. It's so normal. It's
I'd
a normal
say it's
thing.
probably the biggest way people are struggling of looking for love in the wrong places.
Absolutely.
Even if they don't realize it.
Yeah, because it's not just a struggle in this secular world. Even sometimes it's not considered a struggle there. It's sometimes even celebrated. It's a huge struggle in Christian circles.
Guy, girl,
Oh, yeah.
Christian, non.
Yeah,
It's a struggle.
It's a
all
human
across the board.
struggle.
Yeah. Yep. My senior pastor, and I've even this past week I've said this to so many people, but he said something years ago that I never ever forgot and will never forget. He said, "Swallow your pride and tell somebody that you're struggling." And I heard that, and for years and years, I didn't. I still knew that, but I was like, no, I can beat this on my own. I can do this. He didn't. Until I talked to somebody for the very first time, and it was freeing. The problem wasn't solved or fixed right then, but that's step one, is to just tell somebody that you're struggling. And I guarantee you, whoever you tell will be completely understanding, because statistically, there will probably be I completely understand how you feel. I have walked through this. I have gone through this, or I am walking through this. I am going through this. Let's get help. Let's get you help. Let's get us help, whatever that might look like.
And that I can speak to the kind of flip side of that, because I'm one of those fortunate people that hasn't struggled with pornography or alcohol or food addiction or different things like that. My struggles have been ones that I could hide as trying to figure out the best way to I could hide as a sin.
Appropriate sin.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
Acceptable sin.
Right. An acceptable sin or an appropriate sin that at least I get distracted and confused by the fact at first that it's like, oh, well, this isn't a sin. So it's not one of the big ones that you'd hear listed off as one of the big sins, because it's just this completely acceptable friendship or activity or something that's acceptable, when the reality is sin is sin. And if I'm placing something or someone above Christ and above, first and foremost, my relationship with him, and then potentially above how he has spelled out the different ways that he has called us to live and to share. I mean, sharing love can be as simple as buying somebody's meal because you know they're struggling,
Right.
or seeing somebody who looks down and encouraging them, or all of those little things that you could potentially do throughout your day to show love and to give love. And I'm just off here on my own, doing my own thing in my comfort zone. And it's very similar to what you were saying, Michael, of the freedom of telling somebody, the freedom of being like, hey, I really don't have it all together. This acceptable sin is really getting in my way, and it's really distracting me, and it's keeping me from not sinning, obviously, but also the good that God has in his original plan of laying out our instructions or our ways to do things. And like you said, Michael, it's very freeing, and it's also gives me courage and strength and accountability to then fight it, especially when it's an acceptable sin, because those are so easy to hide.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing. We're saying acceptable sin tongue in cheek because, as you said, Becki,
Right.
sin is sin. And it's very similar to when you're talking about idols, because what is any idol if not misplaced love?
Right.
And it's the same thing. Anything even good becomes sin if it takes the place of accepting and our love for Christ. I'll say it that way. And so anything can become it, even good things. I think about the fact that I was just talking to you about this, Becki. In general, my love language is gifts, and my spiritual gift is service and everything. Those are good things. Those are God-given things. But I can do them to such an extreme because I want people to like me. I want people to be able to rely on me because I feel good when I'm relied on, which is actually pride. And and I'm doing something good and I'm giving, but I will do it to the point of burning out or going broke. And I'm sorry, if you give to the point that you can't cover your finances, that's still poor stewardship. And so that's on the surface level, that looks like such a good thing.
Right.
But I'm misplacing the love I'm giving, and I'm misplacing the love I'm trying to receive because I'm trying to build this deep connection with someone by essentially buying their love. And I'm not consciously trying to buy their love. But if I stop and look back, I am. And I think Satan's so smart. Gosh darn it.
But he's not creative.
Yeah.
He's smart, but he's not creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think about what you were saying about how he loves to take something good and just twist it that little bit. And here's what he loves to do. He loves to tempt us into the sin. And then he loves to keep us in guilt in that sin. And then he likes to keep us in the dark about it. And I think going way back towards the beginning when you said we're made to have desires. And I think sometimes even a healthy desire of a single person saying, you know what? I desire a relationship. I desire to be married. Even on that level, it seems like it's bad. Like, oh, that's I have to be content. I have to. And we were made in God's image, and God is love. So we were made by love, in love, and for love. So we shouldn't feel bad when that's a major push of ours, a major drive of ours. We just have to be careful where we're driving. And yeah, I'm kind of jumping around with all the points because you guys were saying great things, but jumping back again to the he loves to keep us in the guilt of it. That's the thing too, like maybe you have messed up. Maybe you've messed up in a tongue-in-cheek acceptable way, but you still feel really guilty. Maybe you've messed up in a way that would make the ladies at church just blush like crazy. That's still okay because there is forgiveness and you can reset at any time. And you can always kind of have a clean slate to pursue love correctly. And I feel like that's just as important because I think sometimes what happens is you pursue the wrong love for so long, you start to feel unworthy of the real love.
Oh, my goodness.
That's good.
And that's never true. So don't believe it. Don't sit there because you're worthy of love.
And Tately, that was so well worded that you pursue the wrong kind of love for so long that you feel like you're unworthy of the real kind. And for me, I think that really hits home with people pleasing and feeling like, okay, if this family member or this friend or this extended relative or this church family or this coworker is going to love me and I have to be that people pleaser. There can't ever be conflict or there can't ever be anything wrong or whatever they want to do, that's what we'll do because that's what makes them happy and that's what makes them feel the best. And I just get to be with them. So, that makes me feel loved. And just the battle that is, and that is just people pleasing is something I've struggled with my whole life. And it's not because I don't want people to be happy or I don't care for people that I stop people pleasing, but it's because I realize that God called me to please him first, not please the sinful humans around me, to grasp at that. If I'm going to keep them in my life, I have to please them. No, conflict can be good and it can be healthy, but pursuing that and being caught in that for so long and then recognizing what it actually is can very much so leave me feeling like, oh, I've been stuck in this for so long. I just have to keep people pleasing. And that's where my love's going to be, of a giving of myself so much, or saying yes to what they want to do, even though I really don't enjoy doing it, or being the yes man because conflict isn't going to be people pleasing. And just realizing, no, Christ gave his love and his sacrifice and wiped that all clean. And at any point in time, I can start with a fresh slate.
Christ, the perfect example of love, made people very unhappy.
Yes. Yes.
He did not please all the people.
Man, I also loved what you said, Tately, about you just believing those lies for so long that it starts to become true for you. I'm an initiator as a person. I love friendships. I love spending time with people. My love language is quality time. So I'm always pushing and initiating things, even with relationships, more romantic relationships that I've had. But because I was misplaced love, I found myself frequently initiating and pouring into and keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. And then the other side would give a little bit. And then my brain takes that as love and acceptance and takes that inch. And to keep going, I have to run a mile or 5 miles. And I'll keep on giving and giving to the point where it's draining and it's damaging and it's borderline abusive. And then there's that other inch, and I stretch that as far as I can go before the next one. And it's slowly killing me and tearing me apart. But then my brain has become addicted to it. And I'm addicted to this relationship that is tearing me apart and killing me for years. And this is not this has not just been a one and done sort of thing for me. This has been repetitive. This has happened multiple times. And so the lie I've heard and listened to is, unless I give wholly and completely of myself, I will not be loved. And I cannot be loved. But God, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While I was actively an enemy of Christ and was stiff-arming him and had nothing to do for him, he was waiting on the other side, arms wide open, saying, Michael, I want you. I know you've done wrong. I've taken care of that for you. Come here to me, because I will love you perfectly and wholly with everything that I am.
You mentioned that while you were caught in those places where you were misplacing your love, it was tearing you apart, but you were so addicted to it that you couldn't figure out how to get away from it because it kept drawing you back, but yet it was tearing you apart over and over and over and over again. So something I'd love for us to dissect a little bit and share a little bit is, we've all shared different ways of trying to fulfill that desire for love in the wrong place, whether it be something like addiction in porn, or it be something like hobbies and excursions, or it be giving to others and using our gifts and our talents to kind of buy somebody's love. When you realize, because if you're anything like me, it took you a while to realize that's what you were doing. Once you realize, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm caught, and it's tearing me apart, but yet I'm so either addicted to it, or it's such a habit that it feels so foreign to change it. How did we get to that other side? How did we get to the point where we're putting our love in the right places? We're all obviously still single, so we haven't fulfilled that desire for romantic love yet. But how are we stewarding the love that God has given us well, and to not be caught in those addictions?
I think everyone's on their own path, so I can say things, but like there's a level of having to figure it out yourself through just a conversation with God. I think obviously the first step is admitting you have a problem, but it's a cliche for a reason. And like you said, just telling someone, getting that person, and you made a great point of community and the correct kind of community. Plug into your church, plug into your Christian community. Maybe for some of you, it can't be family. Find a maid family, pour into people and just practice loving on others and not placing God-sized weights on their shoulders, but allowing love to come from above, even if it's not coming from around. And maybe it looks extreme. Maybe if your struggle is pornography, you get rid of your internet for a while. I know I had to get off all social media for a while because my false love became the likes. I was doing really well on TikTok, and if a video I posted didn't do super well or didn't reach the monetization levels, I was so sad. Like, oh, why don't they like me? What am I doing wrong? Did I not have my hair right? It was ridiculous, but it was looking for love in the wrong places. I had to do something extreme, which was getting rid of social media. And I healed because now I run the social media here. But I'm glad. I'm glad that I went through that before being in charge of it for a ministry, because I don't want to put that on the ministry shoulders. I don't know. But it's going to look different for everyone. But I think taking the love you're pouring into something incorrectly and pouring it into church and others and your Bible and just talking to God. Misplaced love can sometimes just look like running to a friend to talk about something before you talk about it with God. Just flip those two.
Yeah.
Try that for a while.
Yeah. Something that worked for me was finding those trusted adults and talking with them. I believe that everybody knows what they truly struggle with, but not always the root. The root is very difficult to find because sometimes it's deep-seated, like years and years prior. Like it can be just something very, like with past traumas or experiences or whatever, it can be very hard to find the root. So, and sometimes that root is the desire. What are you over-desiring? What are you desiring above God? And so for me, I was challenged to find the person who is closest to me and ask him, what am I over-desiring? What am I desiring over my relationship with Christ? I did that, and he told me, Michael, you desire too much to be loved and accepted. And we had more conversation, of course.
That's a good
that was
friend.
Very helpful. Yep, that is my mentor, my father figure, my brother. Yeah, but it was said in love, and in my mind, I already knew that. But it was liberating to have somebody else say that and notice that, who then said it in love, and it wasn't the self-hatred. It was you do this, and it's hurting you. So I challenge everyone to, even if you might already know, still talk about it. It's always good to dialogue about these things and to process and to have help processing these things. Talk to the person that you are closest to and ask them, what am I over-desiring? If you do not have a person that you can't think, oh, yeah, that's the person who knows me best or loves me best and is also a healthy relationship, find that person. Plug yourself into church, youth groups, small groups, communities, different things with people who will love you and will not call you out, but raise you up.
And you have to be okay with being uncomfortable.
Yes. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, because sometimes that's why we pursue incorrect love.
Yes.
Because that's comfortable.
Yep.
And it's uncomfortable to sit in waiting. I don't want to sit and wait for a someday partner, maybe.
I want to be married yesterday. Yeah.
I want to get on all the dating apps and make it happen right now.
Yep.
I'm not saying dating apps are bad. Everyone has their own thing. But,
right. But God wants you for such a time as this. If he has a person for you, which statistically the people who want to get married typically do, there's somebody out there, or there's not. Ultimately, and I've had conversations with married people. I've listened to podcasts with married people, and realizing, oh my gosh, I'm even when I do have the dream, when I have a wife, when I'm a husband, when I have children, when I'm a father, I'm not going to be fulfilled in my desires to be fully loved and accepted, because that can only happen through Christ.
Yes.
And so that will happen when I'm on the other side, when I'm dead. Then my desires will be fully fulfilled, because they are supposed to be fulfilled in Christ.
We weren't designed to live in this broken world.
Exactly. We were designed, we were made to live in a perfect world with a perfect God.
And that in and of itself is a gift.
Yes.
Because if we were able to fully fulfill our desires here and now in this world, why would we need Christ?
Exactly.
Why would we need God? Why would we look forward to heaven? Because we've got what we need now. So as much as it's a struggle and just a turmoil at times, it is really is a gift, because it's letting us know that something isn't right on the inside, because it's not supposed to be until we're fulfilled in Christ. I loved like a lot of things you guys said, so I'm going to try to briefly hit them. And Tately, you were talking about getting comfortable with the uncomfortable and getting in that waiting period. And I'm like, yes, we need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable and also in that waiting period. But I challenge myself and hope that you guys would take up this challenge too. When the waiting seems like the worst possible thing and I'm going to fix it now because I can get on dating apps, I can call my friends and tell them to set me up on blind dates, I can whatever that trial is, to find a way to positively be active in the waiting. So rather than I can fix it myself, I need to challenge myself to be like, okay, that long-term desire, that goal that I want to get to, if it's a relationship, if it's being a wife and a mother or a husband and a father, or maybe it's being single and leading a singles ministry. Maybe it's I'm a widow and I want to pour into my grandchildren, but they're halfway across the country and I can't fix that right now. Like that will and does look different for each of us. But identifying what is my long-term goal to fulfill that burning desire that I want to fix right now, and how can I be working on my character as a person so that way when I get to the point where that desire is fulfilled, I'm ready to hit the ground running and to be a good wife and mom, or to be a good example to my grandchildren and to pour into them and to support my daughter or son who has these grandchildren. You know, what things can I be doing now to better prepare myself? And I find that helps me get through the waiting and makes it a little bit easier. And then, Michael, you were talking about, and I have to actually go against a little bit of what you were saying, because you said that...
Conflict is good, we were saying earlier.
Because you were saying that you really think, or something to the effect of, you think people know what they really struggle with. And I have to say, I'm one of those people that didn't. Because Satan was able to get me isolated and get me to a point where I was on an island by myself. My walls were up. Nobody was coming in. And I built my castle quite well, and I was quite comfortable. And that left me blindsided because I was comfortable. I was happy. I had a desire. Well, for the most part, I could go fulfill that desire. And coming to a point of realizing it's all a facade. It's all fake. That castle that I built, that being by myself, that thinking it just needs to be God and I to take on the world, it didn't hold any weight. It was like sand that just fell through your hands. I got to a point where I was like, okay, I know this is fake. I know this is not the place I need to be, but why am I here? And what is the problem? And how do I get to the other side? So I had to take quite a bit of time to figure out, what do I struggle with? What am I struggling with? And not just the surface level things of just, it's easier to keep people out, because at that point in life it was. So I had to get before God and ask him over and over again, what am I struggling with? Open my eyes. I couldn't go find somebody to ask because I was alone, because I had built those walls around me. So then I had to ask God to give me those people, but also to work in my heart to the point where I could trust those people to even let them maybe peek over the wall. And then once they peeked over the wall, to start tearing down that wall. It wasn't well, I'm recognizing part of the problem is me shutting everybody out and I need to tear those walls down. That didn't fix instantaneously. It took a lot of time and a lot of just progress and surrender over and over and over again. So yes, a lot of people do know this is what I'm battling and this is what I'm struggling. And maybe I'm trying to do it on my own, or maybe I keep failing at it. But I'm assuming I'm not the only one here who is on an island by myself. There are those of us who we've built such a comfortable life that we don't know why it's not right and why it's not comfortable. And for me, what I've learned through all of that, and I say learned loosely because I'm still learning it, and I feel like it's a struggle that I'm going to have until I get to glory, because it's so easy to misplace those desires, is remembering that I'm in a battle. We live in a broken world, and I'm in a battle with the flesh and my desires and the sinful things I want to do, or the comfortable things that become sin, or the acceptable sins that I want to do, and what the Bible calls me to, and what the Christ standards are, and leaning on and accepting his love to then take that and give that love to other people, because that's the best form of doing that. So I guess my encouragement would be, take time to identify what might really be the root cause and the trigger for where we're misplacing our love, but also to remember it's a battle. So when the doubts come and Satan keeps sending lies and attacks, just keep going. Keep going and keep going, and know that you know that God is good.
Yes.
And even though it doesn't feel like it, just keep leaning on him and taking that next step that he's asking you to, whether it's tearing down a wall and inviting somebody in, or you're at the point where this is what I struggle with. This is my trusted friend and mentor, and I'm going to go tell them. Whatever that step looks like, it's a long haul, but it's worth fighting.
If you are struggling with man, what's the root? What's my problem? What am I struggling with truly? Talk to the Lord about it. Ask him.
He'll show you.
You'll be surprised.
Which, honestly brings us full circle, because your opening question was, why is it important to know where we are giving and receiving our love? Because of this. And if you don't know, ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have something that doesn't even have to be necessarily included, but I think we were talking about talk to your friends, discuss things. And it can even happen in a situation like this, because I feel like in listening and talking, I'm having a self-realization moment, because I know that something I didn't get into as much, but I know I definitely went through a period of time of if I didn't have a guy I knew actively liking me, I didn't feel fulfilled. And so I had all these guys in my back pocket, which was horrible for them and myself and everyone involved. And so I was constantly pursuing that type of attention. And about the time that I moved here is when I really addressed and was kind of freed from that pattern. But also when I moved here is when I really experienced for the first time true Christ community. And so I think that's a good example of a misplaced desire, because I think I had a desire for community or that type of love, the friendship love, the family love, and I was misplacing it in the intention of guys. And when I course corrected to pour it into a Christ community, I was finally freed from that wrong pattern. And so I feel like I'm just kind of realizing this in this moment, but I'm that's a really real example of a misplaced love sending you down a wrong path, and why community is important.
Yeah. My desire for community, which again, the root of that desire is love and acceptance.
Yes.
And I know at some point we're all lost and broken and hurting, and we need to be loved. And so when something does provide the opportunity to love you, well, I'm dying over here. I have to take that. I have to grab onto that lifeline. Sometimes it might work for a little bit, but it's a really short lifeline and I'm back in the waves drowning.
I think I can speak for both of us that there might have been brief moments of, oh, this is nice.
Yeah. Oh, a million percent.
We weren't happy. We weren't fulfilled.
No.
We were still actively searching, and that's addiction because you need more and more and more and more. But you can never get more of God's love because you already have all of it, and it will be enough. And so those other outlets are empty.
Yes. Well, and addiction, because you want more and more and more and more. I need more and more because it's not enough, because I still, at the end of the day, I'm off of that high and I'm feeling void and empty and I need more. However, God is a fulfillment. My cup is full. I don't need more because it's already full.
In fact, it overflows.
Yes. But I also have to be careful that I'm not misplacing it and then pouring that out in the wrong places.
Yeah.
Because then, I'm left empty. But God, in his true and perfect love, is always wanting. His desire is to constantly pour into us.
Can I ask you both to speak into a little bit of the, once you realized where you had misplaced that love, whether it was having a bunch of guys in your back pocket or in the LGBT plus community, when you started to come out of that, can you talk about that like pendulum swing of all of the second guessing, even when it's potentially a good thing, like, oh, one guy is interested in me and I'm interested in him and I want to start talking to him, but what if it just becomes I'm only talking to him because then I have a guy in my back pocket and it feels good, and it's bringing back a lot of those feelings and emotions that were there before, but you're trying to, your goal and your desires to do it right and to do it well and for it to potentially become a good, healthy relationship. Or as you're coming out of the people speaking into you that you're gay or that you're whatever that looks like, as you're coming out of that and people are speaking into you of life and hope and that you're a child of God and that God made you unique that way with those, what the world considers more feminine tendencies or interests, and you find yourself in a place where you have the opportunity to steward those well and for it to be a healthy thing. Is there back and forth there? Is there a struggle there? Was it easy? Can you explain that a little bit to maybe some of us who are a little bit more on the sheltered side and haven't necessarily walked through something quite like that, but want to be there to help support and also want to realize in our own lives, we don't want to get to that point. Like, can you speak into that?
After those, the different people spoke the truth into me, it wasn't like a light bulb moment. It was like the final piece of the puzzle was there, and it was like, oh, wait, hold on. And then looking hindsight, for me, hindsight is like 2015 for me. Like, it's even better. Just even now looking at that, I became so much more comfortable as Michael. Just so much more comfortable being more. I'm not a traditional gentleman by any standards. I don't know anything about cars. I don't care about sports. I love to sing and act and dance. I love cooking, and I really love the hospitality industry. That's a huge part of who I am. I love coffee and tea, like the finer things. I'm kind of snobby about it sometimes, but not traditionally like masculine things. But people around me were saying, "Oh man, I love that God made you that way. Man, thanks for dinner. That was really awesome. Thank you for using your God-given talents." Yeah, no problem. And then finally becoming comfortable with that, like, I still am a man. I can still be a man, because ultimately it's not how much lumber can I chop in whatever sort of time. Oh, how well can I fix this car? The God-given role of a man is to be a protector and provider for their family. I can still protect because I am like, I have a passion and a fire in me. So I know that when push comes to shove, Papa Bear is up. And like, I even do that with like some of my friends. It's like, no, this is not happening. So I am a protector, even though I don't traditionally look like that. I don't have a massive beard or rippling biceps. I'm a bow-legged, flat-footed. I waddle when I walk. Like that's.
Be nice to my friend Michael.
No. Like that's fine. I'm much more comfortable looking like Penguin from Batman versus Batman. Like that's okay. And then a provider. I don't know how to fix a car, but I can call somebody who does. Mm-hmm. Like that gentleman,
and
any gentleman,
you can be a spiritual leader.
Yes,
and that's
that
the
too.
ultimate. Boy, we need to make this a two-parter. We got some good things.
I was about to say. I
like,
keep going.
Continued. I also thought when you were saying hospitality and being a protector, I was like, he's protecting everyone else from me not being hangry.
oh my goodness.
You kind of said it for me when you said questioning other relationships. So, okay. I'm trying to formulate my thoughts because I don't want to say anything that gets taken the wrong way. God provides healing. Mm-hmm. He provides fresh starts. Mm-hmm. He provides you being made new. Mm-hmm. But sin still has consequences in this world.
Yes.
And you might still have to live with those. Mm-hmm. Whether it just be the knowledge or, I don't know, something more permanent, whatever it is. And that's such a good way for the lie of, I've chased this love for so long, I'm not worthy of this love over here. Mm-hmm. So I think that plays a part in current relationships. And that's just something that is a consequence of my sin. I am released from that guilt. I am new. But that's a fact. Mm-hmm. So that plays a part. Also, there is that bit of anytime I'm talking to a guy now, doesn't happen often, but if I am, I don't trust myself anymore. Mm. And that's something I'm still actively working on, but another good reason to have strong, trusted adults around you to tell them, hey, I tend to do this. I tend to keep a guy around to feel good, or I tend to get overly attached or addicted to this type of attention and love. You are free to tell me if I'm doing that, or call me out if you see me being too much or anything. But it has been difficult. It hasn't been very often since I kind of came out of that and healed from that, but there have been times where someone's interested and I can't interpret my own feelings anymore because I'm like, oh, I think I like this person. Do I like this person, or do I like that I have someone to say good morning to me? Mm-hmm. Do I like this person, or do I like that I have someone to text such and such? So I think a little bit I'm still going through that, so I might not have as clear of an answer of being like completely on the other side. I think also it's just constantly having that dialogue, because the difference is that I'm even questioning it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And the difference is I'm giving it to God. I'm not just blindly pursuing a relationship. I'm stepping back. I'm praying over it. I'm evaluating. And maybe there's certain physical markers I can change. And maybe, oh, do I just like that I have this person to text good morning to? Okay, well, maybe that's more difficult to figure out, but a very tangible, non-extreme I can do is not send them random pictures of my outfit so they can tell me I'm pretty. Mm. That's not hard to not do. That's a tangible
Read Song of Solomon. Yeah. Do that instead.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think to kind of bring it back to the actual topic, another reason why it's so important to properly place our love is because, like I was saying earlier, God's not just giving us rules because he's some dictator. He's giving us rules to protect us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We were talking about the psychology of pornography and how it damages the brain. There are studies on any type of intimate relationships outside of marriage and it damaging the brain and it affecting us and it just, all these things, any level of it. And so it's a protection And it's us following the footsteps of the protection God laid out to correctly pursue love, because you might have to, even in forgiveness and renewal, deal with those consequences in this world. So protect yourself.
Thank you guys for sharing your struggles and also coming out of them, or even just in the process of coming out of them, and just how recognizing where we're feeling and getting love from and where we're giving our love to is such an important part of being a healthy human being and pursuing first our relationship with Christ and then our relationship with community and everybody around us, no matter what form of love that takes. Thanks for listening to episode 12 of Every Single Journey. If you liked what you've heard, click the subscribe button to be notified when future episodes are available. You can also share this podcast on your social media pages so others can be encouraged too. If you're looking for more faith-based content like this, be sure to check out Family Life's other original podcasts, including If That Makes Sense, Therese Talk, 10 Minutes With, and the Parable Podcast. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Your financial gifts make podcasts like this possible as we seek to share the hope we have in Jesus. You can find out more on our website, familylife.org.